There are streets that exist only in nightmares, roads paved with our deepest fears, lined with the shadows of what we refuse to face. Sarah Langan's Maple Street is one such place, a haunting reflection of the human condition, where horror is not the supernatural, but the darkness that already dwells within us. But let us not recoil. Let us walk forward, unafraid, as the Stoics taught, for fear is only a spectre that vanishes when met with courage. The ancients knew that fear, like all emotions, is a test. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. So today, we step into Maple Street, not as helpless victims of terror, but as those who seek wisdom in the abyss. Let us confront the nightmare, not to be consumed by it, but to emerge stronger. The journey, understanding fear and resilience. Sarah Langan's work reveals the horror lurking beneath the familiar, the everyday turned uncanny, the known turned alien. The true terror of Maple Street is not in ghosts or monsters, but in the fragile nature of human control. It is a reflection of how quickly order turns to chaos, trust to suspicion, security to dread. And yet, this is not new. Epictetus taught that circumstances do not make the man, they only reveal him to himself. The horror in Langan's work is not an external force, but an unveiling of the truths we spend our lives avoiding. Fear, despair, and rage are not enemies to be fled from, they are opponents to be faced with discipline, with clarity, with the unwavering resolve of a Stoic heart. The Stoic response: mastery over emotion. Fear is the weapon that terror wields, and it thrives on reaction. The more we recoil, the greater its power. But as Seneca reminds us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. True horror is often of our own making, the anticipation of suffering, the dread of the unknown. What then is the answer? To remain steadfast, to meet fear with reason, to see past the illusions of the mind. The terror of Maple Street is not unlike the uncertainties of life, the fear of loss, of failure, of betrayal. But none of these things define us. Our response to them does. The wise do not flee from fear, they observe it, deconstruct it, and master it. We must do the same. We must cultivate the discipline to stand firm, the self-control to resist panic, and the wisdom to act not on impulse, but on principle. Overcoming the nightmare, a call to strength. Sarah Langan's Maple Street is not just a horror story, it is a mirror. A reflection of the anxieties that grip us, the illusions that enslave us. But we are not prisoners of fear. We are not helpless in the face of terror. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." The nightmare only has power if we allow it. When we strip fear of its mystery, when we meet the unknown with discipline, we find that the monsters lose their fangs, the darkness loses its grip, and we remain, unshaken, unbroken. Let us not run from the horrors that life presents us. Let us not be the victims of our own emotions. Instead, let us be the masters of our fate, the authors of our own story. The darkness of Maple Street is not confined to fiction. It exists in the real world, in the form of uncertainty, of doubt, of fear. But we are not powerless. We are never powerless. The Stoic does not seek a life free of hardship, but a mind free of weakness. So when fear whispers, when the nightmare looms, when the darkness calls, we will not tremble. We will not run. We will stand. Because we are not defined by the horrors we face, but by the strength with which we face them. Step forward. Step into the unknown. Step down Maple Street, not as prey to the night, but as those who walk with fire in their hearts, unshaken, unstoppable.